So today we are looking at Phantasmal Flames. It's been a couple of weeks now for it being out and prices are seeming to go down. The news that we've got though to start with, we're looking at the Mega Dream EX Secret Rares printed with the wrong text, which I mean, it just is what it is. It is going to make prices go crazy at the moment. Earlier this year, the Gold Enzoro AX from Japan's Battle Partners was accidentally printed with the texture on the Special Illustration Rare version. This error obviously instantly became the most valuable card in the set. As we kind of know, you can kind of see it here with like the error. It's just not what it's meant to be as such. So it's going to be exactly the same as you can see here. It's not quite got that same in pretty much all of them, which are obviously going to skyrocket a lot of them, as we will have a look at them in the near future. But it's just something extra, whether you're fully into that or not, of kind of like your error cards or stuff that is kind of seen as not the official version. We've seen miscuts and all of that jazz. We also then have got the new cards to be expected in the Start Deck 100 Battle Collection, which will obviously be in the Ascended Heroes come January. Now, we obviously know that we have got the Charizard Y in this, and as you'll be able to see, you can see obviously a lot of these 14 Ultra Rares, illustrations, the whole shebang coming into these sets. This won't be the first time these annual decks come with secret rare cards. In 2021, it was quite a surprise when the new full art cards came and gold cards were discovered in the original Start Deck 100. Illustration rares did not exist at this time, so there is a potential that it could do now. So just something extra that you could throw in when it comes to the Start Deck in obviously Japanese. We also then see the Mega Dream. Like I say, we will do these kind of as we go. At the moment, we are seeing Mega Dream Dragonite coming in at 594, the Gengars at 446, and you've got a few prices of their SARs right here. Now, we are going to see them drop more and more as we do get into it. Most sets in Japanese tend to hit a value cap. You're not going to find multiple SARs above like the 300-400 zone. It's going to be one or two of like the either most wanted or potentially just the hardest to get, and everybody does follow suit. But there is some very nice cards in that set, and hopefully we can get some hands on them very, very soon. But today is all about Phantasmal. Now, we have seen prices drop massively in this, as we were expecting. It seems to be every card set is the same. It starts crazy pricing, and if you are looking to collect it rather than necessarily trying to pack it, you're going to have a much easier time. The set itself is very small. It's the one thing that you've got to always remember with these sets. They're not massive. They're not huge sets. You look at any of the kind of bigger sets and you think, okay, well, it might take a little bit to collect it. This one, other than like one or two cards, is definitely affordable. And we are going to start off looking at the low cards and bring our way up here. I imagine most illustrations and kind of full arts will sit at this sort of price. We'll be looking at kind of your $1. Now, obviously, this card for me is just absolutely awful. It's just not one of their best work. Now, not everything can be absolutely cinema. There's going to have to be some rough with the absolute best as well. So we know that some of them will be there. Another kind of key factor, unless it's like a mega popular Pokemon, a Charizard, a Pikachu, a Legendary, 9 times out of 10, the full arts will massively drop in value. Do not be buying these full arts at 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds a pop, because they do drop hugely. Like, we look at this, and granted, I'm not saying any were sold at this $10, whether they were or not, but you know this is going to be like a £1 to maybe £2 card at absolute best. It is just what it is. So these are going to be brilliant to be picking up if you are trying to complete the set instantly. These are going to be great picking up when they do hit that £2 market. So if you go into a vendor, you're going anywhere and you see a lot of the kind of Phantasmal that you're trying to pick up, then trying to pick them up for £2 each is an absolute win, because they barely go up, they barely go more further down than that. So you're really pretty golden on that sort of aspect. We'll have another one. Same with Rotom. As much as I think it's a very cool full art, I'm a massive fan of all the full arts. If you could make a Pokedex version of full arts, I think it would be a cracking binder. but they are going to be cheap. They are always cheap. So that is going to be my kind of news when it comes to full arts, and especially some of the lower illustrations. They are at the maximum £2 to £3. You will not pay or have to pay any more. And Polion's going to be the same. Was up there. Like I say, this kind of value here is probably a bit higher than what it actually was. Like, this is a pre-sale value, and you can see it instantly drop. Like, that's just an easy one to know. Same with some of these illustrations, as much as it's not a bad one. Like, this is way better than the Nimble one. Togedemaru, it's a nice Pokemon. It may not be everybody's favorite, but it's a cool artwork. It's a nice design. It works. Realistically, we know, again, when we look at the month value, you kind of disregard and look at kind of here, you can see it dropping. It's going to be maximum £2, so it's an easy one. And we haven't really seen what happens with illustrations over a 20-year time span, because we've only really had them for the past X amount of years. So even then, we look back at kind of like your Sword and Shield, there's not really too much wiggle room for them yet. This is kind of like the first era where we've seen so many of them, especially during the Scarlet and Violet. I know we had alternative full arts and full arts that way, but it seems to be that during the Scarlet and Violet era, that was the kind of next step into creating a rarity that is what everybody talks about. So it will be interested to see, what does a Togedemaru do in 10 years? I could probably guess that it's not going to do crazy. Like, you're not going to find these £2 cards and they're suddenly going to be $5,000. Like, if you're coming into the hobby, and because everybody's kind of tunnel vision is always Charizard's now a 50 grand PSA 10 or 250, boxes coming crazy. Like, yeah, if you're looking for an investment, if you're looking for a guaranteed price at this point of what we know, sealed product is always going to be your way. When it comes to kind of buying singular cards, it's purely for a set basis. It's what I personally like. I like having a set. Now, a great way to kind of do this in another way as well is by going Japanese also. So the way that I'm doing a lot of my modern sets at this point is utilizing all of the languages. And to be honest, a lot of it is Japanese and English, more so than your Chinese or even your German, your French. You can still find them, and they're most definitely cheaper. I like to see a set. I like to see the artwork. I normally try and go for either English or Japanese on the actual common or uncommon. And then when it comes to the illustrations, I'm not fussed. I will happily go with everything. You look, for instance, and this is going to be a great comparison for kind of the English side of it. You look at the Inferno X, which is the Japanese counterpart. I look at a lot of these and you kind of see already, we've got the massive cards. They're going to be crazy on any level. But you look at the SARs and kind of, we will go through the prices, but you can already see like a Mega Lopunny, $22. Now, yes, it'll be up and high, lower and higher at times, but that's already there. Piplup, I know full well is like £20 or $20 at this point, $6.80. Now, yes, as you do go further down, you're going to find some of the illustrations don't get any cheaper. They just can't. $2, $1 is the going rate. So when it comes to these, you make your mind up. Do you want them in English, or do you want them in Japanese, or do you want both? That's absolutely fine. So low on low value is going to be very difficult to go against. But when it comes to the higher cards, that's where sometimes you've got to have a look. So as we do kind of boss through a lot of these, we are going to see crazy values going down, as we do with a lot of them. These illustrations are realistically going to be going down to that £2 mark. 2 to 3, maybe some chill at the 5. Like, you've obviously got Charcadet. That one's going to be the promo card. I imagine that one could go up in the future because of the hype around promos. Now, it's not guaranteed. It's not crazy artwork. I do like it personally. I love seeing the octagon, obviously looking over the barrier. It's got some depth to it, so I do like it, but it's definitely not my favorite when it comes to a promo. If you are looking for a promo of kind of what you want to see, it was Lucario, I want to say, was it? Lucario's, not V-Star, was it Lucario Pro? We'll just call it Lucario Promo. I want to say, I can't remember what set it was, but it was, if we can find this one, that's a promo. The demeanor of it was obviously in the Sword and Shield era, so illustrations a little bit less, but full art wise, that's a card. Like, that is crazy when you see it. And we do look at the year price of it, and again, you can see it did come in cheap. Now, not saying it's crazy value, but if you was to have one of them, at least you've got a bit of profit in your collection. Now, if like most people, you kind of bought like hundreds of them, that's kind of now the new promo investment guide is, oh, if you buy them at $1, they're bound to go up. Now, yes, there is a good point that some of them will go up, but It's not every single one, so always be very wary when it comes to that. Obviously, then some more kind of full arts. We've got Okurio coming in cheap. Ludicolo is going to be another one that is just dropping like crazy. Most of these kind of even your Toxtricity. I actually really like that card. I managed to pull it this weekend in Inferno X. And again, it's going to be cheap. It's a cheap card. Of course it is. Now, when you come to your Megas, this is where it could be slightly different when it comes to the full arts, but we are seeing history repeat itself with the full arts. I really like the designs of these. Very much like the battle partners being in with the kind of trainer ones. I like that you've got the normal Heracross or the normal Charizard, the normal Gardevoir coming in with the Mega version. I think it adds a layer to the card. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the full art. So again, throwing these into a Pokedex, I would actually think that would look really cool. Now, I don't know if we're ever going to get a full arts of every single one, but if you could make like a consistent Pokedex upgrade, I think that would be incredible. And let me know if anybody in the comments has got something like that. I would absolutely love to see them in actual card form rather than a picture. But even then, they are still looking like they're going to be cheaper. We're seeing it now down at $4. Again, you're going to look at 3, maybe 4 at the maximum in terms of pounds, because you will get a little bit of an upcharge when you go into shops. But if you're buying in bulk, you might be able to get that a bit cheaper. Even cards like this, I think this is a stunning design. If you're ever kind of liking the illustrations that have a little bit more meaning to it, if you've played Scarlet and Violet, you know exactly what this is. The same with the likes of the Meowth. It's a very nice artwork and it's just got that meaning. At the minute, we're seeing it coming down cheap again. So it is absolutely crazy that it will just keep dropping. And yes, this was never going to be a $15 card. I don't think anybody ever assumed that was going to be the case. Even at $5, I think maybe you could hold off a little bit longer and it will drop down to the moon. We then also have the Charizard EX, even this one, to be honest. We saw the same with the Mew EX. That had a little bit of rhythm to it. It's at 5 at the moment. But with 151, it was another one that really had their levels in it. And it was for the 151 normal kind of set. It was just the EX version of him. I imagine he's probably going to be down on this list. But it was here. Is this... See, no, that's the battle partner. That's the battle deck one. We want the normal one, but that is the card. What we can do is, I know where it actually is. So we go Pokemon and, oh my god, 151's not even there anymore. God, it's been a while. So 151, it is the final EX, and it's kind of just there. Like it shouldn't be, but it still was like a £10 card at one point. I don't think it is anymore. I'm pretty sure we have seen the drop, but even this level of card, like we've kind of seen the data slowly go off. But you can kind of see the almost the validity of it, where it's gone up a little bit, and it was coming in at about £10, like literally just a few months back. Now it's kind of chilling, it's coming back down. We can see it at the 6. So always be wary with the Charizard. Can have that very, very kind of up and down spikes. With the fact that it is a small set, I would suggest that it possibly will come down nicely, but it has got the possibility, because it being a Mega Charizard, that it can do that spiral up and down. It could be £4 one week, then 10, then 5, then 6, then 5. It will just constantly go up and down. So if you find a medium price, that's going to be the one that I'd pay for. Again, with the full arts, pretty standard, drop into the 5, and that's going to be easy enough. This one for me is, I'm surprised it's not dropped more, to be honest. I think it is just a terrible design. The colours, they're okay, but it's just not Zacian. I think Zacian in himself is holding it at a solid value. I just think this is like a £2 card at the maximum. They could have done so much better with this card, and they did the same for Zamazenta. It is just not, it doesn't scream solid Zacian for me. I think there's so much more you can do. Dugong is one that I think is absolutely beautiful. This card is an absolute stunner. Like, just look at it. It's a very nice artwork. It speaks for the nostalgic that we haven't seen a Dugong card like this in, I don't know if we have, to be honest. I think you could probably go down the list of Dugongs and not really find anything. Like, there's always been some nice, don't get me wrong, you go back to your Skyridge, you look at your base, it's nostalgic more so than incredible full art, because we've not had one like Dugong. Mist is Dugong, even Delta species that I personally wasn't around for Supreme Victories. Like, you've got a lot of nice ones, but this This is the piece. This is a PSA 10 worthy dugong. I'd say obviously you're looking at your Skyridge, but I think that is kind of more because it's old rather than necessarily the artwork itself. The hollow pattern on it is absolutely stunning as well. But that's the dugong. That's what you want. Same with Flygon. Like, I do like the multiple Pokemon you've got in it, like Vibrava. You've obviously got Trapinch. You've got a bit of Lotad in there, and then you've also got the Bramble. It's got levels to it. It's still very anticlimactic at times, but I could see why this one's slightly a little bit more. And again, you'd probably be looking at £4 or £5 at the maximum, and that's kind of your next level. And I think I've got it. Oh, I did have it to hand, but I don't know where it is now. I've dropped it somewhere. Do I have it here? I've got the Heatran. Oh no, here it is. I've got this as a spare. It is a very nice card. I don't know if we can actually see it as... it's going to have a bit of glare, but it is a lovely card to hand. It is one that I do think is well worth looking at, but it's going to be a cheaper illustration in the future. Whether we see an upcharge on it, I probably would say not really. Not for Flygon. Maybe if we did get a Mega, could be. Mega Lopunny, obviously coming in a bit more of a value. You will find some of the more favoured in there. Wigglytuff is just unbelievable. It's such an adorable card. I mean, if you're looking at a cutesy, fairy, jiggly, wiggly sort of binder, it's an absolute must in your set. I will see this go down a little bit more over time, but at this moment, it is just beautiful in itself. Again, if you are looking at Japanese, you've got it at 440 in comparison if you want. Now, I think I've got both, so it's absolutely stunning. And then we do look at this. So, for instance, Piplup is going to be one that will be slightly better. The artwork itself is beautiful. It's a stunning one. It's a starter, a fan favorite starter as well. It's most definitely well worth having a look. But again, like I say, you can make it cheaper for yourself. Looking at it 60 and 17 compared to your 30. But if we do look in Japanese, you can find it at 680. It's very interesting to see the discrepancies between card prices. And this is going for more set orientated rather than necessarily price orientated. Which then kind of brings us into the Meowth, and if you know, you know, it's a card that is well worth looking at. I absolutely love this design. I don't think this is in, some cards don't translate over, so this is in the, I want to say, is it the Chinese version with the Cubone? I want to say it's in there. I don't believe this is in the Japanese set. I'm 99% sure. We more than likely could see it in some other product, but you can't get it in the Inferno X. So this is going to have to be either from the Chinese set or from the English. And to be honest, with how the card is, I could see it dropping more. I don't think you're going to be paying 20 for it, but I would say it's probably going to be sitting at the 10 mark at the absolute minimum. We then move into some of the illustrations. Like I said, prior to this, we will look at the differences with price. At the moment, we've got it at 29 for this, but it has dropped down from your 41 original price. When you do look at this one, you can see it at 14. Again, see what you prefer in terms of collecting value. This will drop. I must admit, this is one of my favorites. I absolutely love the Rotom collection. I didn't expect it to be in this set, to be honest, so it was nice to see the EX, the full arts, and all of that, and then even to get itself a cheeky SAR is absolutely crazy. But then we move into Mega Lopunny. It's 22 in Japanese, and in the minute we're seeing 36. Now, we are seeing a bit of a tail end now. We did have it just like 65 was never going to be the price, so I'm glad that it has dropped quite consistently. It will be one of them that potentially does hold a bit of value. I think Lopunny in itself is quite a popular Pokemon, so it will be interesting to see where it does go in the next few months. Normally, what I would say when it comes to SARs and English prices is 6 months is normally the case. You find that people's kind of mentalities on what they collect shifts as new things come out, as we see Ascended Heroes, as we see the 30th anniversary, as we see new sets. This could potentially become one of them Pokemon that just gets lost in the kind of demand for it. Now, the ones that we won't, and we'll kind of go on to Mega Charizard at the moment, we'll go Mega Sharpedo. I love the kind of colours. I think the EXs really showed how well the colours do come out. Again, whether this is going to be one that's well worth looking at 48, you can get it in Japanese at 20. Personally for me, it will drop even more than this. I don't see this being above £30, especially if Journey Together's taught you anything. Volcanion was an unbelievable artwork, and yet that was sitting in at cheap as chips. So I do imagine this one is going to go down a considerable amount. We've got Volcanion. Where is he? This was coming in, this one. So yeah, that's it. Now it's at 20. Like, it just had a fall. This was a crazy price to begin with. I'm pretty sure, was it not more? I want to say it was like more than 50, 60, but it might have been auto corrected now. But the dip down is unreal. And just look, the 6 months, I would happily buy this card for £15 to £20 as an SAR and a set that I could complete. I think it's at a good low point. Can it drop more? Of course it can. But it is still a difficult card to get. So you can kind of play that round, really. The only thing that you might see a bit more in Japanese than you do English is going to be the price of SAR on anime females. It's just one of them things. With obviously the anime, you'll obviously see Dawn and potentially Dawn's Inferno X version come in either more expensive or not. Lily was a great one in Mega Evolution. I believe it was in Symphonia. That is still exceeding the English price. So that's the only thing you do need to look out for with Dawn, because the card is the way it is. If you kind of pick up what I'm saying, it's going to be around that sort of price. It's not going to be through the absolute roof. Whereas in English, we're seeing it drop even more, which is normally the case. So that's something you can figure out over time. Now, Charizard. So we've got these 3 versions. So for the full art, we've obviously got that coming in at 42 at the moment. It was in at about 66 on the day of release, and it's dropped down a little bit over time. We have the Mega Charizard in the gold. That is at the moment coming in at 451. And then we've got the Piece de la Resistance, the £604 on the actual SAR Charizard. In the comparison for Japanese, we've got 825 on market for the gold, 607, so pretty much bang on for the Japanese. And then we also have 57 for the Mega Charizard EX. I've realized we've not looked at Oricorio. Was that in the set? I thought that was, but did I not click it? Oh, weird. It might be in something else then. That might be in Ascended Heroes. I don't know why that's not in there. We're on best high to low. Very interesting. I actually didn't even know that wasn't in the set, to be honest with you. But regardless, that is a lovely card in itself. In terms of the Charizards then, so these are the only things that potentially could kind of withstand a massive drop. Now, I do think a lot of these will come down quite cheap. We've seen already a 20 kind of discrepancy down, as we see it probably more towards your 60 at the start, and then it's dropping down to 40. We have got a bit of a flat line. I would have expected this to be more 20, if anything. So whether we see more of a drop, Charizard is one of them that can withstand a bit of a drop, but he will eventually go up in the future. That is how Charizard normally works. We obviously have the gold card, doesn't look like that, but that is going to be a bit of a downwards turn at the moment. It is interesting seeing the gold go lower than the SAR, which I do think does come down to the SAR looking the way it does. It's absolutely stunning, but we've got it at 451 at the moment. I will see these potentially drop down a lot more. And then obviously the Mega Charizard. It's still dipping, don't get me wrong, it's still going down, but there is always going to be that resounding, it is the way it is. Look at the card. It's going to be a peak Charizard. If you've got a graded for this, it's going to be one of the fan favorites for the new shiny thing. What will be interesting is when more new sets come out, does this stick on that same level of importance? As Bubble Mew is kind of always mentioned, I think it's going to be on that same sort of category. It may not be everybody's chase card because obviously it is so expensive, but it's most definitely going to be mentioned for a fair few years. And where we could see this card in X amount of years, I think is going to be interesting. But that is going to be everything at the moment. We are seeing drops across the board. It is a set that is still very viable for the cheaper cards. We can see a lot of them coming in to next to nothing. I think the set itself was about £1,000. 2 of them cards were about £1,000. You can get most of these for like £200. You could get literally the rest of the set for probably anywhere, even the SCRs at the price they're at. I'd say you'd be looking at 3 to 350, maybe even a bit cheaper. And that's with these prices. They still will go down and you'll be missing 2 cards. I think that is a set that is affordable. It's a nice set. It's got a lot of good artwork and it's still dipping. I'm not saying go out and buy it right now. Maybe look at the £1-2 cards and start filling up that collection and see where the rest of these go. And like I say, sometimes filling them in with some of the Japanese might not be a bad thing as well, especially you look at some of the things that are coming in at 10-15 and you could buy them for 6, 5, 4 at a time, and you can fill that spot until the English is in a certain level. It's a possibility. So let me know down below, are you completing Phantasmal? Are you waiting for Ascended Heroes, as that set looks like it's going to be nuts in itself? Leave a comment down below and make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.